Good evening or morning or whatever the time is when you're watching this video. Right now it's the evening, summertime though, so the sun's still up, so it's an ideal time for me to make a video. I wanted to go through the struggle that I've been through to finish the project that I'm going to be telling you about a little bit later. And I also wanted to share my childhood Pokemon card collection and just go through it, and this is going to be a heck of a long video, so I understand it if you're not interested in watching all of it. That's fine, you do you, or you can skip through it if you want. I don't really care. It's just a video I'm making for me anyway, so if you happen to enjoy it, that's fantastic. Let's do it. Actually, that looks really bad. Let's do this. This is the character I started when I was a kid, and it's still the same character. Unbelievably, the save has lasted all these years. And this is my trusted Pikachu, and I managed in the process of making this video to level it up to 100. I've never done that before. I think it was in the level like somewhere in the 50s or something. Because I just I kept him in my party, but I just used other Pokemon. And now I'm gonna head over to the this place right here, and talk to the developers who put themselves in the game. And it's basically the only reward you get for finishing your Pokédex. It's just a little comment from each of each of the developers here. Thanks. It's something at least. I think few people did back then. You're welcome. Yes, absolutely. Oh, yeah, I don't have the printer. I should get that sometime, before the battery runs out finally after 25 years. And now I figured I wanted to do the last thing, the last little tidbit that you get for completing your Pokédex, and that is to fly back to your hometown, to Pallet Town, and talk to Professor Oak. And he's the only other one in the game that actually has anything to say about it. So I figured we'd check that out. Yeah, completed it. I was kind of hoping that he would say something different for when you actually added Mew to your collection, because Mew is not really supposed to be found in the game. I had to do the hack in order to get it, which is the one that we'll see right here. You get to this bridge and you've completed all the other steps, and all of a sudden it'll pop out. It'll pop up like this out of nowhere. It's a level 7 Mew, and it's easy to catch. And here I have all the Pokemon that I've caught. And I have had to play the game, I think, like 3 or 4 times for this to work, because I have completed a live Pokédex, meaning that I have every single Pokemon and all the evolutionary stages of each Pokemon, which means, for those who are uninitiated, you have to, for example, get a Squirtle and then level it up 2 times so that it's a Blastoise, and then you have to go back, get it again, and then level it up 1 time so that it's the next evolutionary stage, and then go back again and then get the Squirtle and don't do anything with it. And so you have to do that for each Pokemon, basically. You have to catch one, level it up all the way, and then get it again and again if it has 3 evolutionary stages. So it has been quite a lot of work. And finally, here we have like an extra Hitmonchan from one of my playthroughs. And in the final box, we have all those Pokemon that you trade with NPCs. And I have an HM Mew and another HM Mew. So I have 2 extra Mews that have all the HMs learned. All right, first off, I just kind of wanted to take a look at the actual binder that I would keep all my cards in back in the day. It came with this this large holographic Pikachu card. You can see it has some signs of wear and tear. We didn't really think about those things back in the day. It just came with this binder here, and it's slightly bigger than a normal sized card. We can show it side by side here. Let me take a look. Show it next to a Pikachu card. That's perfect. So take a look at them side by side. Fairly big difference. So yeah, that was really cool. I remember back when I got that binder, people really wanted to trade with me when I showed them this card. They wanted to give me like 20, 30 cards just for this. But obviously I turned them down because, you know, I felt it was cooler to have like an exclusive card nobody else had. And so here's the binder. It was sort of starting to deteriorate on the spine here. So I just cut that part off, and then I kept this to sort of use it as like a cover for this new binder. And here's the back, the inside. There's my name right there. And on the back, which is interesting, you can see all the different. You can see the pricing in different currencies here. And I was based in Norway. I'm from Norway, so you have here's the pricing in Norwegian crowns, and it's funny to see this now. You know, the comparisons between Danish and Swedish crowns. That's not the case anymore. Times sure have changed. Yeah. So if we take a look at the first page here, I actually still have the checklist that came with the binder, and here you have all the Topps cards from Series 1. So that was the one I was focused on collecting. Once Series 2 came out, I collected for a little longer, and then I called it quits. Here we have a gaming magazine. This is the only one I have from back then, which is a Club Nintendo magazine. And I'm just gonna leaf through it, take a look at, you know, all the stuff that they announced, and you know, all the different things you could read about in this magazine. Pokemon Stadium, you know, that was relevant back then. And of course the Game Boy games and Game Boy Color, obviously, that was big. This is actually a Norwegian duo that did the one song for the Pokemon movie, the first movie soundtrack. So that's pretty cool. Here we have some more stuff about Pokemon Stadium, and a transfer pack, which is like the only peripheral that allows you to play a Game Boy game on the Nintendo 64. Sort of like the Super Game Boy for the SNES, but it was very limited. You could only play Pokemon games through it, I believe. I don't think you could actually play any other Game Boy games on it, which is a shame. We have some different games. And of course, more Pokemon. Here's some stuff you can get through, like, I guess those were loyalty rewards. I remember having those. Those were sold in stores. These were the only ways to have, to get your hands on Nintendo character action figures. It was only, that's the only way I can think of that you could actually get the, like Mario or Luigi or something, like an action figure of those characters. And that was the Mario Kart 64 action figures that came with a go-kart. And they were so unbelievably poorly made. I remember I had three. I had Mario, Bowser, and Wario. And their heads would come off like almost immediately. And back then we just didn't have any other options. That's why I'm obsessed with amiibos today, because we just didn't really have a way to play with Nintendo figures back in the day. They didn't have any action figures available, so, except for those, obviously. And here you can see it's all about the year 2000, which, because this is the first issue of March of 2000, so, you know, it's all about the new millennium and everything. And oh, there's some Ocarina of Time stuff. I think this is like a fan, is this fan fiction? Or, well, yeah, it's fan fiction. That's pretty cool. Some stuff about Shigeru Miyamoto. Here you have all Pokemon related stuff. You have the, you know, the animation, and it's on TV2 in Norway, or it was back then, and then the movie, the cards. You can get them on video. You have Burger King toys and plushies and everything, and candy too, which is something I want to get into later. Yeah, this is going to be a long video, because I just want to go through most of the stuff to just, like, you know, just to have it documented. Really, who's going to watch this anyway? Probably nobody. So it's just, it's more for my purposes. It's more so that I can just, you know, go back and take a look, in case that, you know, who knows what might happen. If it, like if it disappears or gets destroyed or something, I'll have it documented. Perfect Dark, yeah, that was also very relevant during that time. So, and it came with this, which is just like, it's just Pokemon, the first episode of the show, as a comic book. You know, you have some ads and stuff in the beginning, and then it's just, you know, it's just the first episode. So, yeah. and came with this poster of Pikachu. Or you could display this side, which is really weird in my opinion, because you have like the first 30 Pokemon, but why 30? Oh, Pokemon Gallery Part 1. Maybe in the next issue they did 30 more. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe somebody could, if anybody watches this video who happens to have like a collection of Club Nintendo magazines, maybe they could confirm or deny that. So yeah, whole first episode, first encounter with Misty. I always hated Misty, or love-hate, I guess, would be a fair way to describe that relationship I have with that character. I thought she was a good teammate and everything in later episodes, but I didn't understand why she had to be so difficult all the time and be such an asshole to Ash. Oh well. Yeah, so there's that. Now, on to the main event. Here we have the actual cards, and these are all Topps Pokemon cards. So these were the ones I was originally introduced to. I didn't know about the Topps cards until just a little bit later, but these were the ones that one day I came to school and all of a sudden it was just all over the playground. Everybody was talking about it, and it was these cards. And honestly, I always found them more interesting. You have like a neat little, trivia thing on the back where you can see like what type it is and a description of it and the first appearance, like the first time you'd see it in an episode of the show. So I always thought these were pretty cool, and I completed the first series of cards, and I've just left these. I've just left these sleeves empty. I just want the evolutionary chain to be sort of unbothered by Pokemon that don't belong to that specific chain. So yeah, I have some hollow like this one, some not, and it's kind of cool that the Charizard is hollow. Not that it matters. I'm not sure really about the worth of these cards, and it doesn't matter to me. I don't want to sell them anyway. So yeah. These are all from, I believe, 99 is when they first released them. I'm gonna take a quick look here just to be sure. Yeah, I believe 99. And also you had like that whole "Who's That Pokemon" thing on the back that they would have, that they would show in between whenever there was a break or whenever there was a commercial break. They'd show that whole "Who's That Pokemon" thing. Anyone who was alive back then would remember. Oh yeah, and this is the only card that's not from my childhood. I had the complete Series 1 Topps cards, except for this one. So this one I bought a couple of years ago, I think, through a Pokemon site, which and they happened to have that one I was missing, and I got it for just a few cents. So it was good. I'm just gonna leaf through the last remaining pages here, and that's it for the actual Pokemon. And then and these are the last ones in Series 1. And then you have these additional cards, these character cards. You have Ash and Pikachu, Misty, Brock, and then I have like a couple of those like extra cards that you would get sometimes. I think it was just a checklist card, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And on the back, it would be like a Pokédex thing, which is pretty neat. And here you have the remaining characters,
And if you manage to collect all of them, it would form this image, which kind of it's like the well, a more elaborate design of the cover of the binder. So that's cool. Now we move on to the first movie cards. These cards were pretty lazily done. I mean, let's not mince words here. These were pretty lazy because they're just screen captures from the movie, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, definitely less, I suppose you could say. This is really lacking. It's boring. And these are like the few ones I have from like that next series, I believe. I'm not quite sure what they are, to be honest, but that's when I lost interest, and it ended there. And then now we have the Wizards of the Coast cards. These are the ones that people usually think of when they think of Pokemon cards, and they are fairly cool. I like that they're a bit more. They're not as childish as these ones. These are a bit edgier, I guess. This card in particular is the one I remember actually opening a pack and seeing it and being really excited about getting it. Here I've decided to do both sides of like the pages here because there's nothing really to see on the back of them. It's just that Pokeball design, so that's kind of unnecessary. So yeah. These are all, these are from the base set and fossil set and jungle set, I believe. And this is the jungle set. It's funny because I never understood why they had two Pikachus. You have this one from the jungle set, and then you have and there's my Charizard, and that's actually an interesting story. That's the one time I saw an opportunity to get a Charizard, and it was because I had one card. I believe that was a no, I can't remember. It was a card I had that a classmate of mine desperately wanted because it was the one card he was missing, and I was like, yeah, well, you have 3 Charizards, let me have one of them. And he was willing to part with the most beat up one, so the one that was like in the worst condition, and it's in terrible condition, and this is not, after the fact. This is what it looked like, and I just, I saw my opportunity and just said okay, and just so I could say I had a Charizard, and because I was never going to be able to pull that anyway. I wasn't buying cards that frequently. That kid was pretty spoiled, so he got pack after pack after pack after pack every week. So yeah, and this is like the one dark Pokemon that I have. Yeah. But yeah, back to the Pikachu thing. I never understood why they had 2 Pikachus, because you have this one from the jungle set, and then you have the other one from the base set. Do I have that? Maybe I don't have it. I thought I did. Oh well. Or maybe it's here. No, it's not. And here's my Mew. Can't remember where I got that. It says it's a promo card, so I guess I got it for something. Maybe I traded it with somebody, or yeah, don't know. And these are like these are kind of special because these are cards that had something wrong with them. So you can see that it's been printed too low on the actual card, so it's like a defect thing. But I always thought it was kind of cool to have like 2 of them because they're, you know, uncommon. So here we have, oh yeah, here we have actually from the second set of Pokemon cards. I can't. Then what in the heck were those? What in the heck were these? I gotta look into that. Oh well. Well, these were from the second series. And then you have like, I believe this is also from the second series where they did more character cards. And here we have a few different, here we have some stickers.
And these stickers are from Merlin, which is was a British publishing firm. And they would get on the whole Pokemon craze back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
And we got some Topps stickers. And some fake tattoos and different stuff right here. So yeah.
These would get in a pack of gum, and I actually had completely forgotten about this product until I did some research for this video. It's strange how it all comes back. These were Pokemon trivia cards that you would get from Burger King. It was a special promotion they did, so instead of a toy you would get these, and you would cut them off sheets like this individually. So I don't know why I have 3 of them. I suppose I maybe traded them for something else. Yeah, I have no idea where these came from. They look like bootleg cards to me. Probably something I picked up on a family trip to Greece or something. They say they're called Prism vending cards, but I have no idea.
So that concludes this very Pokemon video. We've reached the end of this little project, and it was interesting to see how cryptic this game actually is. You know, taking a look at media from my childhood, back then people didn't really gauge how difficult they were supposed to make it for children, I think. It's fine because we played it just casually. It was just, you know, we battled each other playing this game, and that was fine. But if you wanted to do all the challenges, if you wanted to teach Pikachu Surf, for instance, you had to do so many steps, and it was brutally hard, and I still didn't do it. That was the one thing that I wanted to do for this video that I never accomplished. I wanted to teach my Pikachu Surf, and in order to do that you have to battle like 8 trainers, and you can't get defeated. Once you get defeated, you have to start all over again from the first trainer, and you have to choose Pikachu in every party that you go out with. And it's just brutally hard, and maybe one day I'll get to do it, but for now I'm just gonna call it quits here. I've gathered all the Pokemon that I caught in Pokemon Yellow, some from years ago and some from this year, and I've also had to buy an extra copy. I had to buy another Pokemon game and another Game Boy in order to achieve this goal by like trading back and forth to get Alakazam, for instance. And it's just been quite the journey, and I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad it's over, most of all. But now at least I can know that all my Pokemon are safely stored here in Pokemon Stadium in case the battery finally runs out in my Pokemon Yellow cartridge. And the only thing I'll end up losing is the trainer, and I can live with that. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. This video is long enough as it is. Thank you for watching. If you have managed to make it this far, I salute you. That's awesome. I want to have a little cool sign off, so I'll just leave you with this. Crazy how this thing still works.